Hello again, it's Debbie Miller Curtis. I am going to be talking today about the same process of assessing your team and knowing where you are in order to be an effective leader. This overwhelming, we've been getting a lot of responses regarding, the first part one. So now I'm going to continue. And I know when I left off part one, I was saying that why I feel I can talk about the topic. Not that I have any special degrees or any special credibility, but as my senior pastor would say, probably words of wisdom and just a few trainings here and there in corporate America and otherwise. So we were looking, when we left off the last time, we were really looking at the roadmap toward creating a successful team. So I really want to get into that with you and to really tell you about where you are, maybe where you are in the process and where you're looking to be, and understanding where you are and working through that with the team each step of the way. So we talked the last time about creating teams and sustaining highly successful teams. So what do? We also looked at big personalities versus small personalities and diversity. We know that diversity just surpassed skin tone and all that good stuff, but it really looks at people's preference and in what situation do they do best in. So and it also look at talents, feelings, and all different types of stuff. It's a complex subject. So I would just like to just walk through that for another 4 minutes because I don't want to do the tapes too long. So we left off on orientation. And we established that orientation is where you are hiring into the team. We also looked at not just a team at work, but also at church. What does that looks like, right? When you're forming that team, everyone is in the confused state. Nobody knows what's going on. They're not too sure. People are new. Someone has just left. They're wondering about their position and just per, people are confused. People just leave the team. They're not too sure if their manager is telling them the truth, if they're what their leader is saying. They maybe know some things through the grapevine because the grapevine is active in every organization. And as much as you don't want to kill the grapevine, you don't want to also put too much emphasis and encourage that kind of behavior in the workplace. But secondhand communication is very active, right? You always know something before the actual news comes out. And if there is not a proper line of communication, what will happen is that people start making up stories. So what you always want to do as an effective leader is really to tell what's going on and use the art of communication and your vocabulary to communicate effectively just the amount of information that needs to get out. Too much information too soon can kill the team. All right, so I'm getting right back to focus. We looked at orientation. It's the confusing state. Now we're building trust. We're moving on to that stage in the team where you're building trust. What's going on in that area is that who are you? Where are you? Who is the next person? What are they? What do they do? What are their functions? So it's really, again, the rough thoughts. Who is accountable for what? What should I be doing? You have to be clear as a leader in this process. This is the process that will lead, if you're not clear, it will cause a lot of confusion. And here is where an effective leader or a great leader can take control, and you really get to assess yourself and say, you know what, I am really doing well, or here I need more time to grow. What I've seen in a lot of teams And you've observed, right? You've seen great leaders, you've seen leaders that's not so great. You yourself as a leader, you assess yourself, you know where you are at times and what you need to develop within yourself. So what you're looking at here when you're building trust is that you want to be transparent as a leader. For me, I have a team, right? And I would do check-in, like, how am I doing as a leader? Because I know one of the things, I'm going to derail a little bit, is that one of the things when you're leading, you have to be aware of your power, right? Whether or not people give it to you, your title carries weight. If you are a leader, I don't know why people do that, but they just put you in a certain category, and that category, it carries a lot of weight. Another team member can say to one team member, move that paper, or photocopy this for me, or print this out for me, and it's okay. The manager comes and you say, print this for me. It's gonna be labeled as you are, she was upset. Did you hear how she say that? What's going on, right? So you as a leader, you have to know that whatever you say carries weight, right? You're not just a regular team member anymore. You are the leader within the organization, be it church or be it in the secular world. And whatever you say or do carries weight. So for example, you are in the trust building phase of your team. You're creating the team. You as a leader, for example, you've given some instructions, and those instructions were to carry out a certain function. Employee not doing this well, or just team member not doing this well. And then you have to check in. When you check in, you weren't the best. You're rough, right? You go in and you go for the kill. And then added to that, after you go for the kill, and you know you blow it, and you know you carry your title carries some weight. You go for the kill, you say what's on your mind, you get up, and then even 3 months later you're upset. Come on, no leaders, we gotta get it together. You're upset. You can't be upset with the team members. I don't know how we're gonna do it. But you have to find a way to communicate, train, develop, and not be upset. You can't keep malice on the team. It's just a no-no in leadership, right? You have to find, if you find out that you're communicating and you feel like you're being targeted and you feel like you're being disrespected, because as a manager or as a leader of people, you get involved. And for me, I do get involved. But what I've learned from a great leader is that leaders are sometimes, let me tell you, I don't know why all leaders are not Christians, because for a leader to be effective, really and truly, you have to live by the fruit of the Spirit. Yeah. Honestly, you have to live by the fruit of the Spirit. And I say that because you have to forgive. You can't remember what went on yesterday. If you are making mention of that, it's only because you're seeing that behavior present and you need to get to somewhere. You need to see some changes. But what it is, you cannot lay out what needs to be done, and then you have to allow the team member they're probably going to get funky because they're adults, and adults sometimes when you're talking to them, they need time to process. In the processing stage, they will get funky. They will, whatever emotion you're seeing, they may cry, they may not cry, they may get upset, they may leave the room. But as a leader, you have to maintain your composure. You can't be leading and you look like you're not the leader. A leader, they're specific. An executive always look like an executive. You don't see an executive sitting on the floor, as my mom would say. You don't see them coming and high-fiving and jumping around like you don't know your purpose. You know your purpose. You're properly dressed. You know how to address the team. You may say things out of line, but you quickly will come back to correct yourself, right? So you want to do that also in building your small teams. You might not get to an Obama stage, but within your organization, you are viewed as an Obama, or you are viewed as some great leader to someone that you're leading. So what you don't want to do is that you you lay out for changes to happen, and then you come in tomorrow into work or at church, and then you're upset, or you avoid the person. You just can't do that. When you are correcting a behavior, that's the time that you want to be making sure that you're loving, right? Just as though you are a parent, you come in, you drop the bomb, bloom, the bomb drop, you need this to correct, you need this to do, and everybody sees that you're upset within the home. Now, if tomorrow comes and you're still upset with your daughter or your children, that's not gonna land too well. It's gonna create a divisive kind of energy within the home. Children are not gonna be too assured of your love. All right, they're not gonna be in a place where they're saying, "Mommy is still upset, so I must be a demon," or what's going on here. It's the same kind of mentality you kind of want to take into the workplace or at church. You lay out certain rules. You say what they are. You're clear about where we're going on the team. Now it's time to move on. You come in as if nothing happens because you're giving the person the benefit of the doubt that there's gonna be change. You're believing the best. You have to believe the best for your employees. And because if you don't do that, then your body's gonna be saying something else. Your tone is gonna be saying something else. And why are you correcting the behavior? It's because you know that you need your team members to be at a certain place. I'm gonna leave right here now. I'm just gonna bring it back home. In trust building, you have to be honest, you have to be loving, you have to be caring. Because if you break one of those elements within trust building, it's gonna be hard for repair to happen. Trust is earned. I heard it said, it's earned. And it's so easy to be broken. When it's broken, it's hard to repair. However, we can start by doing this today. If you're building trust with someone or on a team, you want to be transparent, right? If you have malice that you were keeping, get rid of that stuff. That's not professional and it's not going to go anywhere. You have great people on your team. Let's encourage people. They look to you. They look up to you, right? You are a role model. You're placed in that role, whether or not you want to believe that way. So let's not keep malice on the team. If you are a leader and you're keeping malice, your team's watching you and they're going to be keeping malice too. So you want to observe that in order to create a positive and a great working church environment or workplace environment. You as the leader, you've got to live and you've got to demonstrate what it is that you want your team members to carry out. I'll come back again, and that will be part 3, where we're looking at goal clarification and what should happen here, right? One thing I can tell you, if communication is not clear, people will get creative. They will start forming their own opinions and doing all other stuff. You have to lead. You're called to lead. You have to lead with clarity. You have to lead with precision. How do you do that? I said earlier, ask Google. If you have a God-fearing mentor, you also want to tap into that, right? Because Google is just someone else's opinion. However, it can guide you to where to find the good information, right? So, and you within yourself, you have the Holy Spirit, so you know that, right? I'm talking to secular leaders, and I'm talking whether or not the Holy Spirit is active. This voice of truth is present in every life, right? Whether or not you seek to hear that and carry that through, that's on you. But I know that before I became a Christian, the voice of truth was always there. So I'm speaking to all leaders across the board. Looking forward to talking to you again, maybe tomorrow on goal clarification. That's another step in creating and sustaining high-performing teams. All right? Have a great day. Bye-bye.